welcome back to hearing my voice through a shit quality phone mic. And just to get this immediately out the way, this script is bad. They normally all are, but I made everything for this video while being sick for a while, and it sucked a lot, and I do not feel like rewriting any of this. So if you hear me stutter, that is me trying to make sense of what I put here. So apologies for that, and enjoy my shit. So I don't know exactly what I'm gonna name this video. It's probably gonna be something like trying to design superpowered entertainers. But when I say entertainers, I don't mean like movie stars or professional musicians. I mean entertainers like in the broad sense of people who entertain, because doing like, again, movie stars would feel really boring and predictable. So I want to try to make this at least slightly interesting. And the powers are going to be things that came before the job. Like, they got those jobs because of their powers, and that the powers just so happen to be helpful for that job. I also never came up with any names for these guys, so I'm just gonna call them by the main color I use for them / associate with them. Blue here is a freelance clown. They can be hired for kids' parties and can shapeshift into a big old monster. They can shift to any in-between of a relatively normal person and full beast. And Blue can isolate it to just a part of their body. But going all the way with the changing, then they have like less mental control, which is a very stereotypical thing for any shapeshifting character to have to deal with. But I like it, so it's fucking staying. They are also just really strong. I think that is an important thing to mention, because again, I like specific tropes and I'm gonna put them into these characters. They have a stage in shifting that they normally use for parties, which is also as far as they can shift their physical form while still being fully in control of their mental state. It's just convenient that this stage also looks like a clown. The big nails are retractable, and the arms feel stuffed and they are soft. And since the stage's arms aren't as long as they can go, then the kids can have fun playing and seeing how far they can tug on them, or just taking a nap on them. And on the script, I just have in parentheses, Gumby. So, since they're so well liked by the community, and they don't charge a lot for being a clown, they often are just booked to babysit and look after the kids and entertain them. They have a fair amount of medical knowledge due to them being in medical college to be a children's doctor or something before dropping out. It got overwhelming, and they just like this job more anyways. They do love spending time with the kids and want to make sure they are safe. So they got into watching over certain areas at night or just in general to make sure they are safe. That, I don't know why I said it like that. I'm not fucking retaking this, so I'm just gonna keep going. Is it stalking and kind of creepy? Yes. But is it for a good reason? From their point of view, yes. But out of the three, they are the most moral. Out of the three, they are the most responsible and calm one, which is why it is important that they keep the shapeshifting in check so they can still have enough mental stability to watch over the other two, or else they may hurt themselves or someone else. For the design itself, I wanted to keep the human part to be still slightly off, they've got naturally blue hair, multicolored freckles, and slightly sharp teeth. Their work uniform and their normal clothes are the same because they just like the clown look. I added roller skates because I thought it was cool, but if I were forced to give a reason, it is because it is their hobby and just doing the whole clown shtick is effective with roller skates. As mentioned before, the middle stage looks the most like a clown, subtracting the dangerous parts, and the clothes they change into for this are just typical clown clothes with some accommodations. The monster one was actually the first thing I made and just backtracked from there. My initial thought was making the personification of a cozy dream. I wanted to keep the colors soft, and the fact that the colors I chose for the freckles match the spots on jawbreakers are incidental. They've got sharp teeth inside the beak thing. I just did not feel like drawing it. For these designs, I wanted to have fun with the background, and I wanted to have each background kind of represent the character. So for this one, I had the background kind of match like a circus poster theme and just be colorful, because as mentioned multiple times, they are a clown and matches the whole clown thing. These abilities are kinda hard to describe. Okay, so this fucker doesn't feel pain, which I am blaming on a constant supply of adrenaline. I do not know if that would function as I think it does in my head, but I am not gonna do research on this because I'm tired. Anyways, but they can still absolutely get hurt. They can die from physical damage catching up to them, like bleeding out, infection, and suffocation. But if they experience deadly physical damage all at once, then their body heals themselves to just the survivable extent of the same damage. For example, if they fall off a building, instead of it killing them on impact, almost all of their bones are broken and they can't move, and every day that it would take a normal injury to heal turns into an hour for them. They still need proper medical treatment for things to heal properly if it is necessary. But wait, there's more, because that would just be boring, because I don't know how that would just function in a fight, or anything that would be interesting to do, so I'm adding more. This one's probably going to be harder to describe. They can also reflect physical damage done onto themselves onto anyone else. Like if they are shot in the foot, then they can tap someone else and the pain they would have felt is passed onto that person they tapped. They can use the same quote-unquote gunshot pain until something else quote-unquote hurts them. Then they can only use that amount of pain. So they can have a broken limb and go around inflicting that pain on people, then they accidentally scratch their arm on something and now they can only inflict that pain on people even though they still have a broken limb. Their job is winning bets and some thievery. If they're in a crowd, they'll intentionally get in a fight with someone they don't like, win the fight, and take a couple dollars from their wallet while they are down. But they don't do that often. The entertainer aspect comes mostly from winning bets. They function as a human punching bag, betting on how much pain they can endure without giving in. They also just partake in physically dangerous bets for a crowd. All of the above normally take place in party settings. It is self-destructive, but they do not care because they are getting paid. They don't hang out with the other two because they enjoy helping people like Blue does. They mostly just like hanging out with the other two because they just like their company. Not a lot of people treat them with actual respect, so they stick around with them and just do what they do. They don't take anything seriously and treat many things as a joke. They don't really understand the concept of being hurt, so they usually don't take that into account. They are very energetic and jittery, like they are constantly on a roller coaster. Again, constantly pumped up on adrenaline. And they are kind of unempathetic and just really, like, smiley. Their design is something I didn't really think into that much. There's a lot of red, and I wanted them to look comfortable and scrappy. The jacket functions as the normal outfit unzipped, and as the fighting outfit zipped up. The background is just like those comic panels because it seems to imply a more bombastic and energetic vibe, which fits red well. They want to be cool so bad. Oh please, let them be cool. This one is the simplest ability. They've got the ability to calm anyone in their vicinity and make them passive. It makes sure that no one wants to hurt them. It also compels anyone they want to dote on them. They also have full control of this ability and who it impacts. They work in a Chuck E. Cheese-like establishment. They are normally tasked with wearing the mascot suit and entertaining the kids. That along with doing the whole party thing with calling out the cake and singing happy birthday. Of course, working anywhere with kids and having the ability to calm them down instantly is very useful. But it means that they have more to deal with because anytime there's an angry guest that needs to be dealt with, they are sent out for obvious reasons. But I wanted to have one of these characters have powers that are the opposite of them as a person and just kind of aggravate them. So I'm doing that with green. But what they really want to do is practical effects for horror movies and or make a horror movie themselves, especially slasher movies. The main point of inspiration is those really shitty slasher movies from around the 80s, and those movies are like their main personality trait, like they can talk about any detail from any of those movies for hours. So when they started talking to two people who also had superpowers and wanted to quote-unquote fight crime, they got really excited about making their own character with a slasher movie backstory and costume to go with it. It's literally just a slasher movie monster, even though Blue has mentioned that it wouldn't really make sense since they would hopefully be the good guys in situations. But Green just zoned out thinking about how badass this character is going to be, and only really paid attention to Red's encouragement. They are the only one out of the three that has a costume, and because they want to be cool, oh so bad, they took their pretty much harmless ability and compared it to an anglerfish drawn in their prey. Even though they can't even touch anyone the ability is affecting, or else it wouldn't work, and they really don't actually want to hurt anyone. So when fighting, they're regulated to a distraction and a human shield. They are generally spacey, sarcastic, and easily aggravated. They also hang around Red, who they think is cool, a lot who accidentally influences them into getting into dangerous situations. So Blue normally has to be there when they hang out so they don't get out of control. And on the script, I didn't write one part that I was supposed to. It just says pre-design info here. Okay, so I don't know, this is unscripted. I don't know if it's like on the recording, but for the paper that I use, you can maybe see some like the pre-design like in the top. So originally they were supposed to be like goth and shit, like cool, like a stereotypical cool, quiet person. Like I wanted them to be a biker, but that didn't really fit in with the other two. It seemed like the other two were just cartoon characters. They were goofy. It wouldn't really make sense for there to be just this cool biker just following them around for no reason. So I didn't go with that, and I didn't go with that because, again, it didn't fit in. And I just didn't like the design in general. So, yeah. Thank you past me for not writing anything there. I gave them that 80s haircut trademark, and I'm sorry if there's an actual name for the haircut. I literally just searched up 80s haircut and they had what I was looking for. I used Savajik from Diary of a Wimpy Kid as an example for the outfit and added a generic horror movie graphic tee. And I think I already talked enough about their other outfit. The background for green here is a mixture of pre-2000s horror movie posters because, again, that is their main interest and passion, and they just like the aesthetic. Which can already be gleaned from the whole other costume / character they made based off that genre. And that's them. I have more stuff about them, but I wanted to keep this just about the characters themselves. I may do a part 2 if anyone actually wants that. I could make antagonists or something, or just talk more about them. But that's all I have for now. Good night.